Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcasting to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, a supply of Qatari-funded fuel entered the Gaza Strip today for the first time in 12 days after Israeli Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman said a significant decrease in violence had prompted his decision. President Donald Trump announced that the United States continues to make significant progress in the fight against radical Islamic terrorism across the Middle East, a campaign that has decimated the Islamic State in both Iraq and Syria. Kunlun, which is the largest Chinese bank for money transactions between Beijing and Tehran, has informed its clients in the Islamic Republic that it intends to stop processing payments from Iran by November 1st. A day after Israeli Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman asserted that there was no alternative for a military option for the Gaza Strip with the aim of providing Israel's southern communities with peace and security, the Defense Minister's Bureau issued a statement last night announcing that a Qatari-financed supply of fuel to the Palestinian enclave would resume today. While the top Israeli defense official declared 10 days ago that a supply of fuel and gas to Gaza would only resume once the violence emanating from the Hamas-ruled territory would come to a complete stop, including the use of incendiary kites and balloons, a relative decrease in violence has motivated the Jewish state to follow through with its promise at the recommendation of the Israeli security establishment. Nevertheless, the violence emanating from the terror-infested territory did not come to a complete halt. 6 fires broke out yesterday in Israel's southern communities. According to Israel's fire brigade, the blazes were sparked by incendiary kites that were flown from the Gaza Strip. Furthermore, sources in Gaza reported that a Palestinian was killed and 7 others were wounded in clashes with IDF troops along the border fence barrier. The IDF spokesperson's unit told TV7 that in response to a violent demonstration, Israeli troops responded with crowd dispersal means and live fire in accordance with the rules of engagement dictated by Jerusalem. That said, the IDF could not verify any of the reported casualties on the Palestinian side. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited communities in southern Israel, during which he declared that Jerusalem is preparing for every scenario. The Israeli leader noted, however, that while the Palestinian terror group Hamas is a greater threat than in the past, it fully understands the messages that Israel relays to it. That said, Netanyahu referred to Hamas as a theological junta that had taken over the Gaza Strip and remains committed to Israel's destruction. Therefore, he emphasized Hamas could not be a partner for dialogue about peace. Prime Minister Netanyahu also took the opportunity to reiterate his criticism of Israel's disengagement from the Gaza Strip, which under late Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon brought about a complete Israeli withdrawal from the enclave. Netanyahu referred to the Israeli disengagement as sad, mistaken, and tragic, while pointing to the fact that before Israel's withdrawal, there were only about 3,000 armed Hamas militants in the Gaza Strip, compared to its terror force of about 65,000 today. Now in other news, the Israeli Foreign Ministry's political director Alon Ushpiz revealed in a secret discussion at the Knesset's Foreign Affairs and Defense Committee that French President Emmanuel Macron intends to present a peace initiative to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict if the Trump administration would fail to present its peace plan within the next several weeks. According to the senior Israeli official, the foreign ministry in Jerusalem is aware of the Paris Initiative and the French plan to bypass the so-called American deal of the century if President Trump would withhold his initiative much longer. With regard to the midterm elections in the United States scheduled for the 6th of November, the Israeli Foreign Ministry political director warned that the expected outcome could weaken Israel's standing in Washington. According to Ushpiz, Jerusalem believes that the Democratic Party will come out ahead in the midterm elections. He explained that while Washington's strategic goals aim to keep Israel a bipartisan issue, the Democratic majority would undoubtedly have a significant effect on the American support toward the Jewish state. With regard to the diplomatic crisis with Israel's eastern neighbor, Jordan, the Foreign Ministry's political director stressed that the strategic relationship with Jordan was vital to Israel's security, urging the Knesset members to view the situation from a long-term perspective. The Foreign Ministry said in response that the report is written with errors and inaccuracies, yet noted that, unfortunately, it cannot elaborate due to the secret nature of the forum. Now to Washington, where U.S. President Donald Trump announced that the United States continues to make significant progress in the fight against radical Islamic terrorism across the Middle East, a campaign that has decimated the Islamic State in both Iraq and Syria. Ahead of a briefing with senior military leaders, President Trump stressed that continued efforts are being made to boost the involvement of Washington's regional partners in the war on terror.
We've made significant progress in the fight against radical Islamic terrorism. In Syria and Iraq, our brave warfighters have decimated ISIS, and we are working to get our regional partners to step up their contributions and take greater responsibility for the future of their own region.
Meanwhile, Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif declared that his country will be able to overcome sanctions imposed against it by the United States and its allies. According to Iran state media outlet Press TV, the Islamic Republic's top diplomat was quoted as saying that many countries have expressed readiness to do business with Iran despite the looming American measures. Among those vowing to continue trade with Iran despite U.S. sanctions is China, the Islamic Republic's top oil buyer. Nevertheless, concerned of losing its business with the United States, Kunlun, which is the largest Chinese bank for money transactions between Beijing and Tehran, has informed its clients in the Islamic Republic that it intends to stop processing payments from Iran by November 1st. An Iranian businesswoman who spoke on condition of anonymity said it was unclear when Kunlun would restart transactions with Iran. She said that according to a Kunlun account manager, all payments originating from Iran by the 1st of November will be rejected and returned. Kunlun did not immediately respond to TV7's request for comment. Now to Egypt, where the charge d'affaires of the United States Embassy in Cairo, Thomas Goldberger, announced that Washington intends to stream new investments of around $200 million into the Egyptian market by the end of 2018. Goldberger's announcement was made during a speech at a conference of the American Chamber of Commerce in the presence of Egyptian Minister of Solidarity, Ghada Wali. During a speech, the American diplomat stressed that the move comes in light of the U.S. commitment toward Egypt. Meanwhile, the Russian Defense Ministry released footage of a joint Russian-Egyptian exercise titled Defenders of Friendship 3 that is held in the northwestern region of Egypt, not far from the border with Libya. The Egyptian Defense Ministry released a statement on its website that the drills include an exchange of training experiences for the tasks of special units, the implementation of many forms of atypical shootings, and special forces training on fighting and combating terrorism. The joint exercise, which is a third of its kind, will continue until the 26th of October. Thank you for watching us. You can also watch us at TV7israelnews.com or TV7.fi. For any comments, please send your emails to israelnews@TV7.fi. For more updates from Israel and its region, please join our Facebook page or subscribe to our YouTube channel at TV7 Israel News. Keep praying for the peace of Israel and the peace of Jerusalem. I'm Jonathan Hassan. Have a Erev Tov, and we will see you again tomorrow at the same time.